J. Boarman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Public Printer of the United States.
that I will well and
That I will well and faithfully
that I will and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office of the Public Printer.
discharge the duties of the Public Printer of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you all, and good afternoon to everyone. This is such an honor and a privilege for me, and I want to begin by thanking President Barack Obama for his confidence in me and for providing me with the opportunity to work once again for this great agency. My family is here with me today, and they've been introduced several times, but I just want to say that how special it is for me to be with Lauren and Chris, because they've been just the two best children that any parent could possibly have, and I'm so proud of them. My oldest brother Jim has traveled here to be with me from Puerto Rico last night, and his daughter Jessie drove all the way down from Rochester, and I'm so happy that they're here. Of course, I want to thank our honored guests, Congressman Steny Hoyer and Senator Sarbanes. These two giants in politics have been my friends for almost 40 years, and you can tell how old we are when you do the math on that. And it's not true that I was in their office every day, but I know it probably seemed like that, but they were always so gracious and supportive of the people that work here at the GPO because they understood how important this agency is to what the Congress does, and that they really can't operate without, on a day-to-day basis, without GPO. I want to thank the Librarian of Congress, Dr. Billington. What an honor it is to have you here today. This is one of the truly great Americans who's done unbelievable work with the library since he took that task on many years ago. And to Archivist Ferriero, your words rang true today with me, with the tasks that are ahead of me, and I understand that, and I obviously look forward to working with you in collaboration on many projects, I hope. I look forward to working with all my legislative branch agency heads, including Comptroller General Dodaro, who's here, and thank you, sir, for being. It's an honor to have you with us today. It's especially meaningful for me to have my pastor, Father Gene, with me today. He holds a special place in my heart, in my family's heart, and I couldn't think of anyone else to begin this ceremony today to bring praise and help me have God look down upon me to be successful in this. Judge Atkins and I met a number of years ago working on the Commission on Judicial Disabilities, and we became instant friends. And she was on the Special Court of Appeals, and since then she's moved on to the highest court in the state of Maryland. And I'm just proud as anything to know her. She's really one of the great jurists in the state of Maryland, and we're just so happy that you could be here. Rabbi George Driesen, who you will hear from later, and please don't leave until he does the benediction. George in his other life was a labor lawyer who represented the workers here at GPO back in the 80s, and very well. In fact, he was my local's attorney, and I can remember a number of speeches and testimony that I gave before Senate Rules and before the Joint Committee on Printing that George actually prepared for me. So George, again, I couldn't think of anyone better than you to come now that you've become a man of God. You've decided to be a rabbi than to close our program. Thank you also to Jeff Reckenbach, my good friend, for all those kind words that he had to say about me. We have been very close over the years at CWA, and I asked him to do this, some time ago, and he accepted right away. He likes to be funnier than he was today, but we asked him to tone it down. But he really is a great MC, and I'm so pleased that he was here. And of course, we were joined by the Marine Color Guard, and we're going to hear from the GPO choir, and they're really great, and we look forward to that. Now, before I go any further, I want to thank Davita Vance Cooks and George Lord for their words of welcome and their support. I couldn't have two better people working with me, one in management and one in labor, to help me get through the difficult decisions that I'm going to have to make. Thanks also to Davita, who took a major hand in putting this together, along with Beth Ann and Carol and Donna and Daleen and all the staff that worked so hard on the details that made this such a wonderful program. You've done just a great job. I've reserved my final thanks for the most honored guests of the day, and that's the GPO employees. As a fellow employee, I wanted to have all of you here in the swearing in and be with me today. Your presence means a lot to me, and I'm so glad that you're here to witness this event. And I'll have more to say about you later. And it's good. At a time like this, I cannot help to think about those who are no longer with us. And Steny and Paul both mentioned, of course, Mary. And many in the audience knew her very well, and some of you didn't have the pleasure. But she was a wonderful woman, and she would have enjoyed this so much if she could have been here today. And we used her Bible. Lauren held her Bible. And so in a way, I think she was here. And I think Chris and Lauren, they embody the best in spirit that Mary had. And having the two of them here with me, I think I have Mary. I'd also like to just briefly mention my mom and dad, who've been gone for many, many years. But on an occasion like this, you can't help to think that how proud they would be to be here today if they could be with us. My dad was a hardworking man. He worked mostly 7 days a week. But he was so proud of his children, all 5 of us, especially his 4 boys. And he was always bragging about his kids to people, even if they didn't want to listen. So I believe that he would be here today. If he was here today, he'd be bragging about me. And he taught me a couple of things that have guided me, through my life. One, the difference between right and wrong, and that hard work won't kill anybody. He was a hardworking man. And I practiced that all my life, and I love work, and I think the people here at GPO are the same. My mother was the most wonderful woman that I ever knew. She was a loving and caring person who looked out for us, made sure we never left the house without looking appropriate, and she always made us go to church on Sunday. We were paper boys, we were altar boys, and she'd make sure we'd have a big breakfast when we get home from serving our papers on Sunday morning. And I know how proud she would be if she was here. So, Mom, I hope you're looking down. Now, as was mentioned, I am a practical printer by trade, and someone said that's better than being impractical, but the Title 44 of the U.S. Code actually requires the public printer to be a practical printer by trade, versed in the art of bookbinding. And so it's no happenstance that that's exactly what I am. And I served my 4-year apprenticeship at the McArdle Printing Company right here in Washington, D.C., and those were some of the greatest years of my life. That's where I first got the ink under my fingernails and the scars from the linotype hot metal squirts on my body. But I always felt it was my time here at GPO that really began the path of my career. I was appointed here as a printer in 1974, and I worked in the composing craft unit, which then had more than 1,600 employees in just that one division. At the time, the composing craft was going through a major technological change from the hot metal typesetting operation to electronic photo composition. The union representing the compositors, my union, Columbia Typographica Union, worked on behalf of the employees who were affected by this transition. Now, out in the industry, the same technology conversion was going on, and it was causing major upheavals. But here, that upheaval didn't happen. GPO employees and managers were able to computerize the agency's typesetting systems cooperatively and constructively. The employees affected by the change were trained for the new technology, and based on their experience in the craft, they contributed ideas that actually made the new systems work even better. For them, the transition created a new future, and for some, like a group of monotype castermen, who were almost all minorities, employees with lower pay scales, the change made a huge difference because the new technology created new opportunities for training and advancement that just weren't there with the old equipment. Now, the lessons of this experience wasn't lost on me. Employees and managers working together made it possible for GPO to change. We preserved the fundamentals of the craft, and we applied them to a new and better way of getting the work done. The change benefited everyone. In fact, the change went farther than anyone thought it would. What we set in motion in the 1970s and was a reality at the dawn of the digital age of GPO and this agency. GPO began building databases and information that would be printed and reproduced on tape and disc and on the old CD-ROMs. Then in the early 1990s, with the strong support of our partners in the depository library community, the agency started putting those databases online as part of a new system called the Internet and the World Wide Web. And the rest, as they say, is history. As a result, GPO became more productive, more efficient, and provided more services, and it saved taxpayers millions upon millions of dollars. In fact, because of the use of technology, today the cost of congressional printing has been cut by 2/3, 66% from what it used to be. How many agencies can say that? And all because the employees and managers here work together to achieve a common goal, to make what we do better for Congress, the agencies, and the public we serve while adhering to the principles of our printing craft. The GPO today is a much different agency than the old one I left many years ago. Fewer people work here, but it's significantly more technologically advanced. We're responsible for a range of products and activities that could only have been dreamed of 35 years ago. Online databases, federal documents, passports, smart cards with electronic chips carrying biometric data, print products on sustainable recycled paper, and using vegetable oil inks, a management and infrastructure supported by the latest IT enterprise architecture, and more. Now, our long-standing partnership with the printing industry, where we procure most of the printing orders that come to us, works very well. This system ensures the lowest possible cost through competitive bidding while generating thousands of jobs and business opportunities in the private sector. It's a great asset to the industry and to the taxpayers, and I think there always can be room to make it even better. We have an even stronger partnership with the depository library community. This partnership is the foundation of our mission to keep America informed by disseminating government documents and information to the public. Keeping America informed is a function rooted in the Constitution, and it's one of the great national purposes served by this agency. I look forward to working with our new Superintendent of Documents, Mary Alice Bass, who was introduced earlier, to ensure this partnership continues to carry out that purpose. And our colleagues at the Library of Congress and the National Archives well know nowhere else in our society has the impact of digital information technology been more sweeping than in the printing publishing industry, the industry I've called home for the past 40 years. The library and the archives have done a great job meeting the challenges and opportunities of the digital age. I think the same can be said of those who served as public printer before me and the employees who worked with them. And of course, Mike DeMario, who's a good friend of mine, who's been here, was just a terrific public printer, and I'm so honored to have him here today. Mike and others, kept the agency moving forward, and we will be standing on their shoulders as we continue to work to change GPO. As all of us know, the President and Congress are calling on us to hold the line on government spending, and we're being asked to come up with new ways of doing business. This is the challenge that President Obama gave me when he asked me to take the leadership of this agency. In the days since I've arrived here, I've been meeting with leaders from inside and outside GPO to discuss how we can carry out this task. I had a very good meeting recently with the chairman of House Administration Committee, and I'm looking forward to working on this challenge with him and his staff, and with all of the community we serve in Congress, federal agencies, and of course the public. We can meet this challenge. We've done it before. My own experience with this agency has proved to me that we have a great capacity for change, and we will do it again. Let me say to all the employees with us today, you have a gift. You are an extraordinary, talented group of men and women with every day carry out your responsibilities with unmatched expertise and dedication. We have a strong management team. We have a strong management team, and we will support the President and the Congress, and we will help them carry out the direction they've set for our nation. I'd like to make one final observation before I finish, and two of our speakers have already talked about the poem, but downstairs in the main entrance, and many of you came in that way, on the plaque between two of the elevators is the prose poem, and you see it in your program today. This is a printing office. Every GPO employee has seen it, and I remember it from the time when I served here. The words were written in 1932 by a woman named Beatrice Ward, an American typographer who worked as a publicist for the old Monotype Company in England. She wrote them to advertise a new typeface that had been released, using the typeface to express her beliefs about printing and free societies. In the end, the poem turned out to be more popular than she had imagined. She later said that she'd seen it framed on the walls of nearly every printing office that she visited. As World War II began abroad, GPO's 1940 apprentice class had these words cast in bronze, and as sort of a blessing for the work that we do here. We're still blessed by those words today. Beatrice Ward's poem expresses what we know to be fundamental importance of reproducing and transmitting the written word in a free society. Printing and the function associated with it, gathering, processing, replicating, and disseminating preserves the written word, authenticates it, and makes it broadly available to a public that needs to be kept informed. Ever since Gutenberg invented movable type, these functions have been central to our way of life, the basis for literacy, education, commerce, the arts, and the liberty we are guaranteed under our form of government. For us at the GPO, Beatrice Ward's poem is about a valued and special place where the official, authenticated word of our Congress and our constitutional government is reproduced and disseminated for the people of our great nation. We still print using processes that are thoroughly computerized, but we also use digital technology in the new and exciting ways. The forms and capacities of that technology continue to grow, and we embrace them to carry out our jobs each day. But we never forget that the principles of our work are enshrined in Ward's poem, and whether what we do is in print or in bits or bytes, or whether in the long run we call it a printing office or an information office, we never forget that we stand on hallowed ground and that we are here to serve. I'm proud to come back home, be part of this great agency, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless GPO, and God bless the United States of America.